Couch co-op is the best way to game, especially if you play with friends. But it's a genre that there hasn't been a huge amount of games in recent years. So today we want to do a little public service announcement, highlight some good ones. Hi folks, it's Mac, and on this video we have some of the recently released couch co-op games we think you need to know about. And we're starting off at number 10, It's good to be back. It was a big welcome returning to Borderlands in Borderlands 4. The series has always been such a great, silly, irreverent time with friends. And while Borderlands 4 does do some big things different, like bringing on the full-blown open world, it's really that original Borderlands formula that holds up so well and just brings it all together. There's something really satisfying about blasting your way through Borderlands 4 with friends. Exploring, shooting, looting, questing. That's obviously why this series has resonated so much for so long. The story here is surprisingly a bit lower key compared to a lot of the last games, and it's actually a bit more nostalgic. But the highlight for me, the really fun part here, is that after level 20, you can actually mix and match some skills. So this means you can multi-class a little bit, and that also goes for the weapons too. So if you put in the effort, it really allows for some fun, really creative experimentation with your friends. If you and your squad are on the same page, you can come up with some really cool combat strategies or just some ridiculous stuff, you know? And of course, all that silly power fantasy and loot stuff is just wrapped up here in the same great Borderlands mix that fans are gonna love. It's got the funny, quirky characters, the over-the-top guns, and the insane bosses, which make this one an awesome couch co-op experience. You can play this two-player local split screen, and honestly, this one is a no-brainer if you're into the Borderlands series, or just into fast, fun, loot-filled fun with a friend. Next, over at number 9, for a pretty creative experience, it is Henry Halfhead. This game has burst on the scene not only for its fun sandbox, goofy gameplay, but also its surprisingly deep storytelling of all things. You play as Henry, who is just like, I don't know, like literally the top half is a person's head, and Henry can possess really anything in the environment. So as Henry, it's your job to just play little mini life stages. And in doing them and fulfilling tasks, you're really just screwing up the house or the environment, or whether it's a school or work or something. It's awesome. Each object you possess often then possesses like a totally unique mechanic or way it traverses the environment. It's not like you're sticking to one thing. So every stage just has tons of reactive creativity. So as you progress through Henry's life story, he gets tackled and you just get new objects. You're going through the sandbox levels. It's just way less about destruction and more about satisfaction while doing silly stuff. But you know, you gotta water the plants, or you know, you gotta set up the birthday party, that type of thing. That's why it's just a great co-op experience. The game's actually completely built for 2 players, either working together trying to smash through objectives as quickly as possible, or just filling the house with as much goofy stuff as you can come up with. This is a really surprisingly fun time with quite a bit of charm to it. If you like oddball experiences, this is a must play. And over at number 8, we have LEGO Horizon Adventures. The LEGO games have just been such a staple of couch co-op gaming. They've been around for so long, and for good reason. They're simple, really fun arcade action games. And with the whole LEGO thing, it's like nostalgia injected straight into our veins. Now, while many of the LEGO games have stuck to the movies and stuff like that, LEGO Horizon Adventures is a little bit different, because Horizon, of course, you know, is a big third-person action-adventure game with lots of crafting and shooting robot dinosaurs with bows and arrows and stuff. You know, it had us curious how curving that into the LEGO formula would work. I mean, really, it's just still classic LEGO, but you know, that fast-paced gameplay, you know, this time now it's a little bit more fast and crazy. Way more slapstick and goofy than something like the actual Horizon games, but still retaining kind of what we like about those Horizon games. Even Aloy's adventure here is pretty simplified, so it makes it really perfect for couch co-op. There's quick, fast-paced combat, lots of puzzles to solve, lots of crazy stuff going on. And like with many LEGO games recently, there is a ton of customization here, from like costumes to even building out a home base that gets better and better as you beat more stages and progress. Then there's the great LEGO humor that can keep things light and fun. You know, really, there's just so much to unlock as you play the game for adults and kids alike. This is just a great co-op experience that you can stick with for a long time, especially thanks to split screen. Now, number 7, we've got Little Nightmares 3. Despite a change in developers, this game still really manages to stay faithful to the core spirit of the series. The difference here, of course, is the co-op. Players can partner up and take on the game's creepy world together. It really makes this adventure feel unique compared to the previous Little Nightmares games. You know, the power of togetherness, you know, dealing with some of these new gameplay dynamics, using both players' unique abilities. It really makes an experience we haven't really seen before in this style. I just love this stuff. Being tiny, wandering around a big world, just doing puzzles, platforming, solving mysteries, and running away from things that are much bigger and scarier than you. Now, there is single player, you can play this by yourself with the AI partner, but the game really is best played with 2 people. The only knock, though, is the kind of lack of cross-platform compatibility in co-op. But if you can get together with a friend on the same platform, or maybe even if you're near each other's houses, this is still a great game, and just a great game for Little Nightmares fans. Next over at number 6, we've got Biped 2, a game that took a pretty simple concept of the first game and really ran with it, built upon it. This is just like pure pick up and play couch co-op simplicity, but like one of the best examples of it. Each person controls one of these cute little robots, and you have to navigate through different physics and environmental obstacles by moving each leg independently. It sounds simple, but man, it can get pretty crazy. The game really shines when it starts demanding things of everyone like precision movement or perfect timing, or just tons of communication to pull things off, and sometimes maybe you're going to be arguing, you're going to be yelling, you're going to have a hard time. But the beauty is, with 4 players instead of 2, the chaos is just multiplied. And unlike some other co-op games, Biped 2 really adds a good amount of brain-tingling puzzle stuff. So it just creates this really engaging mix of like really precise movement and trial and error physics. This is a really fun co-op game, especially for people if you're looking for something a little less intimidating, maybe a little bit more friendly to play for like 4 people, like hard basic gamers. This is just a game that's like you to start yelling at each other, and we love that. Next over at number 5, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate. This roguelike has got to be one of the better Ninja Turtle games we've seen in a while. I mean, it might not be like a full-price retail extravaganza, but it still manages to finally get the Ninja Turtles right as a playable experience. And in this case, in co-op, which to me is the Ninja Turtle way. So Splintered Fate originally started out as a mobile game, then it shifted to Switch with a full release on PC, and finally landing on PlayStation. And what we have is pretty much a simplistic game, but a very good and fun one, especially to play with friends. Instead of challenging breakneck platforming or anything like that, the Turtles just starting a hub world and they're doing runs through totally randomized environments, fighting enemies, getting power-ups, trying to get to the end in one piece with as little deaths as possible. In the spirit of like a good roguelike, you know, with one run, one set of abilities that help you in your run, that type of thing, that's the excitement, that's the reward. And with the Turtles doing it, it's great. And of course, you can play as any of the 4 Turtles. Although I would argue as a Ninja Turtle fan, the power-up system could be a little bit better. You can fully level up individually each turtle, but you know, the randomization of what Casey Jones says is your next pickup. I kind of think each turtle having like unique abilities that would get better and better for every run. It would incentivize switching between turtles more. That's just me talking because I've been a Turtles fan since then. But if you like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, this is a really surprisingly just simple fun game to just put on and lose some time with. Now at number 4, we have Contra Operation Galuga. Contra usually can be hit or miss, but for me, this most recent one absolutely nailed it. Honestly, like this felt like such a love letter. I really appreciated this thing. It's essentially a reboot of the series and very much in the spirit of the originals. Like it's actually developed by Way Forward, who knows their way around the genre, the craziest frantic gameplay you can think of. But they also nail great Contra campy storytelling with some overtop dialogue, explosions, and cutscenes, and you can fight alongside a friend through this entire thing. There is a limit to 2-player co-op here in the game's story mode, but if you want like the best experience in my opinion, that's what you want to do, because playing through the actual classic stages with another person, it's just the best run and gun co-op experience you can get if you grew up playing these Contra games. Thankfully, player reviving means like no quarters or second chances here. Thank God, because this game is difficult and you're probably gonna die a lot. But even with that help, you're still gonna find that challenge, that classic trial and error. Maybe a little bit too much trial and error sometimes depending on certain segments, but still seeds planted. It's just an absolute rush from start to finish, and it is absolutely best played with a friend. And in case you're out and about and don't want to sit in front of your desk, Contra Operation Galuga is actually one of the best co-op games on Switch, so that's definitely another great place to play it. Next on the list, we have Trine 5, A Clockwork Conspiracy. The Trine games are well known for their cooperative gameplay. Their fun, their creative puzzle design, their charming narrative. The 5th installment just really continues that tradition with some pretty satisfying couch co-op gameplay. It's just the way to play this game. You play as Zoya the Thief, Pontius the Knight, and Amadeus the Wizard. You combine their unique abilities to overcome environmental challenges and combat scenarios. You hop around like this beautiful fairy tale-like world, solve physics-based puzzles, and it's just a great multiplayer experience. Think something like the old The Lost Vikings games, but much more graphically impressive here. The game's design leads to good communication, strategy, and teamwork, whether you're playing this online or ideally sitting next to each other on the couch. Now, while Trine hasn't really reinvented the wheel with each installment, the series excels at providing a consistent, high-quality cooperative experience, and I think this is the highlight. It offers a good balance of platforming, puzzle solving, action, and it's just a really engaging option for anyone seeking a great co-op adventure. If you're a fan of like classic puzzle platformers, and if you've missed this series, I highly recommend it. Coming in next at number 2, we've got Haven. Romance is in the air with Haven, a very unique take on the co-op adventure. Now, instead of like a typical action focus, this one puts you in control of lovers U and K, who broke free from an oppressive society in search of freedom on a forgotten planet. As the two of them, you glide through these beautiful landscapes, you battle against corruption, and you explore this strange world, really just trying to survive together. This game's appeal for us goes beyond just look. Like, there's kind of a depth to the relationship, the writing, all this dynamics you're exploring, making this a co-op experience purely built around emotional connection and, teamwork on the actual planet, day-to-day survival. It's such an original take on co-op. And look, even if you play it solo, that's fine, but co-op's the way to go. It keeps everything as balanced, it keeps everything as engaging. It's perfect if you're gaming with maybe a significant other or something, and it's casual enough if you're playing with someone that's not really into games. This is a good one that might trap them in, the old romantic trick. Look, this game released a few years ago, and it still stands out as like a real innovative example of like what good couch co-op can do in video games. And finally, at number 1, this is a big one. It's Split Fiction. Of course, now the latest game from Hazelight Studios, the people of course behind A Way Out, and more notably, It Takes Two. If you don't know, these games are designed specifically for two-person co-op, with each player having to work together to overcome various challenges, puzzles, combat, crazy, over-the-top, hyperactive situations usually. And Split Fiction, you play as Mio and Zoe, two aspiring writers trapped in what's known as the Machine, a device that steals their creativity and literally manifests it into the world. Players become heroes of their own stories, essentially hopping between science fiction and fantasy worlds, taking on anything from like platforming challenges to giant, massive spider robots. These games just have a sense of presentation craziness that is hard to describe to people, but I would say with Split Fiction, you get a lot of that. It's not really like poignant or emotionally resonant in the way It Takes Two is, but it still has its own kind of heartwarming moments and nice payoffs. But really, the highlight here is just the gameplay. It's really great. It has that high production value that we've come to expect from Hazelight, especially after It Takes Two. Now, the story can be a little slow to start. It does build to something pretty solid. Look, if you're not sold, these games are just heavy on that like working together communication gameplay, which, some people might not be into. But if you like these types of games, or you like the last ones because living in the shadow of It Takes Two is hard for anyone, I think Split Fiction is just keeping that tradition alive. It's definitely worth checking out. Just a quick bonus, because it's like an indie game, we have Big Helmet Heroes. It's this quirky local co-op beat-em-up that is just a ton of fun with friends. The game's mechanics are simple, yet they feel very satisfying to control, offering just a variety of unique heroes to play as, each with their own goofy charm. Now, while it only supports 2 players, which sucks, a lot of these games do, it's just very inviting. Each level throws more and more enemies and challenges at you, and while the variety might be lacking a little bit, the core gameplay is just good old-fashioned, wholesome smashing stuff and collecting loot with your friends. The heroes that you play as really give you a good selection of different playstyles to match different vibes. And well, even if combat repetition could set in a little bit, the game's adorable art style, nice big chunky characters, just good sense of fun in the gameplay really makes it worth it. If you're looking for something to just hack and slash through, this is definitely worth checking out. It's especially good if you're looking for a game that's like straightforward, very simple, and still rewards good teamwork. But with that, those are 20 local couch co-op games you need to know about. There's a lot we didn't mention here. There are a lot of great ones out there, so leave us a comment. Let us know what you've been playing. Recommend something I haven't even heard of, quite frankly. Now, if you like this video, hit that like button. It's all you gotta do. It really helps us out. And if you're new, consider subscribing because we put out videos from time to time. But as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.